Okay, last week we looked at the third essay and we came up with an essay outline together. And I asked you to go home and see if you can rearrange this outline into an argument outline that fits the structure of the argument essay as written in the handout. Now, originally, I was planning to ask uh, for how you did this for homework, but because the class began very late, and apparently we have many, many new people this week, let's do this together. So we know that the first part of an argument essay is the introduction, and the introduction has to tell you what is the topic, why is it important and urgent, is the controversy, like related to this topic, what do different people think, and finally, what does the author think? So the introduction has to do all four of these. So if we look at each paragraph, um, so number 2 is the author's position, right? They think that it is unfair. Number 1 and number 2, it is unfair for people between 18 and 20 to be able to make big decisions, but not be able to drink. So it looks like 1 and 2 are the author's position. Number 3, some people want to lower the drinking age limit from 21 to 18. And then number 4 is some reasons to do this. So these are reasons that agree with the author's position. These should be considered arguments. And these two paragraphs go together, right? 3 is the idea, 4 is the reason for the idea. Okay, so it looks like the introduction, we don't really get a sense of why the other side disagrees, why the other side might want to keep the drinking age limit at 21. So we're going to have to add this for the author. Uh, hmm. I think maybe this should go first, right? We need to know what the topic is before um, we know what the author thinks. That makes more sense. So in fact, maybe we also want to add the name of the topic. It's debatable because first of all, this essay has a title. Old enough to fight, but not old enough to drink, I think is the title. Yeah, old enough to fight, old enough to drink. So from the title and from the um, comparison in paragraph 1, we already know what the topic is. So in this case, I think it's fine if we don't say something like, there is currently a discussion in the United States about whether to lower the drinking age. That information is already there. But we do need a mention of the fact that some people are against lowering the drinking age. Okay, so that is the introduction, right? Some people want to keep it 21. Um, but you know what? Maybe we should flip 2 and 1. Maybe it makes more sense to say that it is this would maintaining a higher drinking age would be unfair to these people. And then you give the reason because 18-year-olds can already make many big decisions. So let's do it this way. Okay, so that's the introduction. Next, we have arguments. So if you remember, arguments are where you actually explain why you stand on one side and not the other side. And you explain by first choosing your target and then arguing against your target. You begin each argument by talking about something that the other side says and then explaining why they are wrong and why you are right. So 3 and 4 are reasons that agree with the author's position. So maybe we should put that later. What else do we have? 5 data against keeping the drinking age at 21. Okay, that's good. That's about why the other side is wrong. What else do we have? 6. If we lower the drinking age, there will be more high school drinkers, but that's already true. Okay, so we have 2 kinds of argument here. Number 5 is purely based on data and facts. Paragraph 6 is about the logic, although you could also say it's based on data. You have to have data in order to say that it's already true that many high schoolers drink illegally. Hmm. So if we wanted to improve this essay, we would actually um, keep a hold on the data and wait for each relevant point before adding the data. Whereas here, paragraph 5 just gives us a list of data points. I don't think it's the best way to argue about this. Um, so let's keep 5 later. Let's talk about 6 and 7 first. Both of these take something the other side says and argues against it. So if we remember the list of ways to respond, the first one is to explain why it's not true, then to explain why it's not relevant, which is number 7, then to explain why it's not important, and finally, you can choose to explain why it is less important than something else. So I think paragraph 6 is using the strategy of it's true or may be true, but it's not relevant to the discussion because it's already happening. Although I guess we could also say that it is relevant, but it's not important. Mm. It's probably not a good thing to have so many high schoolers drink alcohol. So it's relevant, but it's not an important point because there are already many high schoolers drinking alcohol, even if we don't lower the drinking age. Okay, so if paragraph 7 is irrelevant, the response in paragraph 7 is that the point is irrelevant. The response in paragraph 6 is that the point is unimportant. Now, when we write an argument essay, we like to make the stronger points near the end. We start with the weaker points, then move into the stronger points. Um, so 5, 6, and 7. Yeah, let's start with 6. Is that right? Okay, I think maybe our notes are a bit too, our outline is a bit too simple. Let's take a look at exactly what the essay says. Okay, 7. They argue that 21-year-old drinking age saves lives. But in fact, when the drinking age was raised, there was no decrease in deaths. Instead, there has been a steady decline because of other work. Okay, so maybe it's not uh, irrelevant. Maybe this is also saying it's not true. So yes, there has been a decrease in deaths, but it's not because changing the drinking age. Okay, so both of these arguments are saying that the other side's point is not true. Oh, wait, sorry. 7 is not true. 6 is not important. Um, so let's begin with 7. That seems to be the easiest one, right? The other side says something, turns out it's not true. Number 6, the other side says something else, and it is true, but it's not as important. It's not very important to the discussion. Uh, and then paragraph 5 is about various other. Well, maybe we should put 5 with 7. Right. So 7, or sorry, after 7. So 7 and 6 are responding to the other side. I think that's there's there are a few more here. Hang on. Let me just put this here. There are a few more responses to the other side. Number 9. Even paragraph 9 is saying even if the other side is completely relevant and important, even if they successfully argue that keeping the drinking age at 21 would be safer, the author says it's giving up too much in terms of freedom. So this is the 4th response strategy. When the other side says something that is true and relevant and important, you have to argue that something else is even more important. So this one definitely goes at the near the very end. Okay, and then number 10 is saying that the other side has a bad tone. So it's not about the reasons, it's about the way that they present their arguments. This is a very weak point, so let's put that at the very front. What else do we have? When the other side says that it would be when the other side argues that the only reason somebody wants to lower the drinking age is to make everything easier and more consistent, the author's response is even if lowering the drinking age doesn't improve anything, it doesn't make anything worse. Right? Compared to keeping it at 21, the most you can say is that lowering the drinking age doesn't make things worse. But the best you can say is that maybe it will make things better. So this is also, I think, quite a weak argument. Basically, it's saying, even if I'm wrong, you're not right. So this is quite weak. Let's put this after number 10 here. Okay, and then we have 7, 6. Okay, and then so these are the responses to the other side. Then we move into additional arguments in support of the author's own side. 3 and 4 are some reasons. 5 is data why the other side is wrong. And then we have hang on. 9 also belongs here. No, we'll keep 9 out there. 5 is data why the other side is wrong. And then we have 8, which is data why the author's side is right. These two should go together. In fact, I would actually put this in front of 3 and 4 because 3 and 4 don't really talk about the other side. 3 and 4 are only talking about the author's side. But 5 and 8 put together, right? 5 is against the other side, 8 is for the author's side. So if you engage the other side, that should come first. And then if you have additional reasons, that should come later. And then 9 comes last because it is well, I mentioned this briefly last week, but if you use the final rebuttal strategy, there is no ending point. What I mean is, if you say the other side is wrong, that's the end, unless the other side can bring up new facts. If you say the other side is irrelevant, again, that's the end. But if you say that they are right and relevant and significant, but there's something else that's even more important, then the other side can come back and say, no, this is more important, not that. And then you could keep arguing all the way to infinity. So the fourth response strategy has no end point. There is no logical conclusion. It is pure persuasion. It is pure rhetoric, 修辞学, not really based on logic. So that's why I would put that argument last. And then we have a conclusion. And as a reminder, the conclusion should summarize everything you said and try to convince the reader that if they agree with you, the world will be a much better place than if they agree with the other side. Okay, so after reorganizing this, it does seem like this essay is not a very well-structured argument essay. Most of the ideas are here. Not all of them, right? We had to add this idea to the first paragraph. But most of the ideas are here. We just needed to rearrange things to make them more powerful. To create a structure that would help present the ideas and help to convince the reader. Questions? Okay, so now we have two sets of two essays about two sides of the same topic, and we have rearranged the outlines so that they both fit the ideal argument structure as best as they can. Now, let's compare the two argument structures to see which essay makes better points, which essay makes better responses. Basically, if you took these two essays and put them against each other, which one would win? Okay, let me reorganize the screen. Hang on. So, the argument structure essay for the previous essay is also on Moodle, so you guys can start doing this yourself while you wait for me. Okay, let's take a look. So the Moodle side is the side that wants to keep the drinking age to 21. And on the other side, on the right, this essay is wanting to lower the drinking age. So let's compare the two structures. So for the side that wants to keep it at 21 years old, they introduce the problem, which is that many people between 18 and 20 are arrested for drinking, and then introduces the other side, that there should be a way to lower the drinking age to 18 to solve this problem. And then we have added for this essay that the author disagrees with that idea. On the right, also, uh, we have added some people want to keep the age at 21, but the author disagrees because the author thinks it would be unfair and explains it with this. If you can make big decisions at 18, you should be able to drink. Okay, so far both structures seem clear. We don't really have an engagement yet. We don't have arguments against the other side yet. Let's continue. Paragraph B. The side for 21 says some of the other side's ideas make sense, but currently this problem of underage drinking is already decreasing. So we don't really need to do anything. This response seems to be that it's saying the other side's point is true, but irrelevant. It is true there is an underage drinking problem, but it's irrelevant because the problem is already decreasing. Uh, so what this essay then needs to do is to say the best option is to wait, to let the situation improve on its own. So if we do anything else, it will just create new problems. And this is what the essay does. It says, if we do lower the drinking age, we will need a way to supervise these 18, 19, and 20-year-olds. If we lower the drinking age, there will be more traffic deaths, according to the data. And also internationally, not just in the US. So, okay, this essay seems to have only two arguments. It would create the problem of needing more supervision, and it would lead to more traffic deaths. That's kind of weak. Let's take a look at the side that wants to lower the drinking age. First of all, the author says that the other side uses a bad argument style, which is okay, fine. I personally would not say that because it doesn't really add anything to the argument. If you really wanted to use this kind of argument, you would have to link it to characterizing the morality of the other side. Like if this is how they argue, then this is the kind of people they are. And would you really trust this kind of person? You would have to really carry it back to the logic in order to make this argument stronger. But in this form, it's very weak. Okay, next one. The other side says that we're only lowering the drinking age for convenience. And the response is, even if that's true, it's not worse than keeping the drinking age at 21. So also kind of weak. If your argument is it wouldn't make things worse to do what I want you to do, that's again a very weak argument. It's actually the same level of weakness as this point, which is the problem is already decreasing. We don't need to do anything. If that's true, then why did you agree that there is a problem here, that there are many high schoolers arrested for drinking? It's not exactly a contradiction because the author says that there is a problem, it's just decreasing, but it's what we call a tension. 有一股张力. Right? You agree there's a problem, but then you say, we don't need to do anything. The problem will solve itself. It feels kind of weird. So anyway, this argument is also very weak. Again, if you wanted to respond to the other side saying that you're only doing this for convenience, the best response is No. Look at all of my other reasons for doing this. And so that's why we put this paragraph so early, because then you can present all of the other ideas. Next one, the other side says that keeping the drinking age at 21 saves lives. And the response is that's irrelevant. What's really keeping young people alive is not the drinking age, it's other things. Okay, that's a slightly stronger argument. Um, it also has an added benefit because if you go back to the original essay, it says that the other life-saving things are being done by the same group that is arguing to keep the 21 drinking age. So it's giving the other side a compliment while at the same time saying that their logic is wrong, which is a very nice thing to do. Right? If think about it, right? If you're looking at two people arguing with each other and one person keeps insulting the other person and the other person keeps complimenting the first person, which one do you like more? Right? I think it always helps to try to be nice. And in fact, the essay on the left does the same thing because at the end it says the other side is a good guy, but he's still wrong. Right? So it's still trying to be nice and polite. Um, So this is a slightly stronger argument. It's saying that you're right, the data does show what you say it shows, but it's because of a different reason, not the reason that you're saying. Okay. Then the next one is if you lower the drinking age, there will be more high school drinkers. And the response is there are already high school drinkers. That's kind of the problem. So the logic here is if there are more benefits to lowering the drinking age, then we should do it because the disadvantage that the other side is saying already exists. Um, so that's kind of related to this point, right? If this side is saying if you lower the drinking age, you will need to supervise these younger drinkers. This argument is kind of agreeing with that. If you really don't think it's a good idea for 19, 18, 19, and 20-year-old people to drink, then yes, if you lower the drinking age, you probably will need to get somebody to supervise them. But we will later see that the author does not think that these young people need to be supervised. So like the structure that we have created for this essay on the right is it starts out by kind of agreeing with the other side, but the deeper it goes, the further away the two sides become. And I think that's given the arguments that we have, this is a better way to organize these arguments. Because by the end of the essay, you want to let your readers feel like your ideas are much better than the other side's. So you do need that distance between the two. Now, again, if it were me writing this essay, I would not use such weak arguments. But given the arguments that we have, uh, I think this is the best structure we can use. Okay, then we have what we call constructive arguments, positive arguments, data against the other side, data for the author's side. Oh, so this should be 18, right? Did I get this one wrong? Hang on. 8. Several studies have found oh no, I didn't get it. Okay. Sorry. So that's kind of strange. So the data is for and against 21. Interesting. So in fact, this one should be put somewhere else. Sorry about that. This should be put here. First, you present something that seems to be good for the other side, and then you argue why, in fact, that's not true or whatever, and you end with your own side. So first 8, then 5. And then you have positive reasons that are not responding to the other side. And then finally, you end by saying, even if the other side were everything the other side is saying, even if all of that is true, we should still side with me. So this is basically where the author says things like, we don't need to supervise younger drinkers. We don't need to worry too much about if there will still be young drinkers if we lower the drinking age, because compared to safety, freedom is much more important. And this goes back to uh, paragraph 4, right? Paragraph 4 is where the author says, oh, sorry, where we go back to paragraph 2, right? And paragraph 1. If 18-year-olds can vote, if they can marry, if they can get abortions, then they should be, and if they can join the military, then they should be allowed to drink, because freedom should be more important than safety. Now, you can agree with the author, you can disagree with the author, but this is what the author is saying. And then a conclusion. So it seems like this essay on the right is a stronger argument essay. At points, it does seem to agree with the essay on the left. But at the end, it says, even if I agree with all of your data, even if I agree with all of your logic, I still think that the other thing is more important. The only way to respond to this kind of argument is to re-evaluate the importance of freedom and safety and talk about safety as being more important than freedom. Let me give you an example. So currently, the essay on the right is saying, what use is it if you are completely safe and you will never die, if in order to do that, you have to lock yourself in your room and never go out? If you cannot enjoy freedom, then safety is meaningless. That's what this essay is basically saying. To respond to that, we would have to describe safety as being more important than freedom. So you could say something like, sure, you can be free to do dangerous things, but if you die, you won't have that freedom anymore. Safety is necessary for freedom in the future, not just in the current moment. So if you want to keep enjoying your freedom, you have to put safety first. So you can see how, like, on this kind of which one is more important, this kind of argument, it's not based on logic. It's based on how you talk about something, because both of them are true, right? If you're so worried about staying safe that you never do anything, it's true, you're not using your freedom. But if you're so focused on doing whatever you want that you ignore safety, that's also true that you will not be able to use your freedom in the future. Both ideas are true. It just depends on how you talk about them. Nothing in the essay on the left rises to that level. There is no argument about which is more important, safety or freedom. So it does seem like, after comparing the two essays, the essay on the right seems to be the stronger argument essay. Questions? Okay, so that's the end of the introduction to argument essays. For next week, if you look at the syllabus in your course packet, we are going to begin a series of individual conferences. So next week, I will call you over and talk with you one-on-one to discuss your ideas for writing an argument essay. Just a reminder, in this class, I will not tell you what to write about. You choose your own topic. But there are 3 topics that you should not write about in this class because they are very hard to write about. The death penalty, priority seating, 博爱座, and whether global warming is real or not. These 3 topics are very hard to write about. Please do not write about them. In fact, please do not write about any topic that is something real or not. Because that's not really up for discussion. If you want to know whether something is real, go to Wikipedia. Don't write an essay about it. So your topic should be about something like which one is better or why is this important? Which one should you do? Which one should you choose? That kind of topic. Something about based on values and opinions, not based on which facts are true, which facts are false. And you can write about any relevant topic you want. It could be very big. You can talk about big political issues. It could be very small. You can talk about why among the 3 Pokemon you can choose at the beginning of the game, which one is the best one. Or like you can, I mean, if you want to, I don't think this is a good idea, but if you want to, you can compare your parents, say which one is the better parent. Right? So you can write about many things, just not those things I was just talking about. So next week, I will call you up and we will discuss your topic. We will think about what you will probably put in your essay, how you will organize it, so you have a direction and a plan to begin writing your essay. The following week, I will again call you up one by one, and you should have finished your first draft. By March 20, you should already have finished writing one draft of your essay. Bring that to me, either on paper or digitally. Either one is fine. Bring it to me and we will look at it together and I will give you some suggestions. Then, take those suggestions, go home, revise your essay. Week 6, we're going to do that again. We're going to look at your second draft and I'll give you more feedback. Week 7, no class, but you have to upload draft 2 to Moodle. And then I will give you detailed feedback. And then week 8 is another conference, and we will talk about the detailed feedback that I give you. And then before midnight on week 9, please upload your final draft, and I will give you a grade. I will only grade your final draft. Week 9 is also the midterm exam. Come here. I will give you 6 argument essay topics. You choose one, write an essay using a pen and no outside help. No digital devices, no talking, no ChatGPT. And then week 10, we will introduce the next unit, research essays. Questions? Okay, and then finally, because we have many new people this week, I want to remind you that in this course, we're not just writing essays that have correct grammar. I'm going to be looking at 3 different aspects of each essay. Does it make sense? Do you use powerful emotional stories and examples to support your ideas? And do you present an image of yourself as the author in your essay? Can you connect it to your personal concerns? Another way to talk about this is, why are you writing about this? And why do we, or should we as readers, read your essay and not somebody else's essay? What makes your essay unique? Why does it deserve to belong in this world among all of the millions of other essays? So a quick tip for you. For the ethos part, I think the most effective way to answer these questions is to connect your topic to some kind of personal struggle or change or transformation in your life. Something important that happened to you, something that helped you grow as a person, learn something important, change the way you looked at the world, these kinds of strategies. If you simply take a topic, toss it to ChatGPT, and then copy whatever it gives you and then submit it to me, your score will be very low. Your ethos will be either 1 or 2. Your pathos, the examples, will probably be between 2 and 3. And it might surprise you to hear that if you ask ChatGPT to write your essay, your logos, your reasons will also be somewhere between 2 and 3. Even though ChatGPT is a program, it is not very good at logic. So for this class, I'm asking you to use AI to correct your spelling and grammar. And if you want to, you can ask it for ideas and feedback, but please do not use it to simply write your essay. Now, if you are impatient and you don't want to wait for my feedback, I have created, where is it? I have created a ChatGPT version of myself. You can upload your essay to this ChatGPT program, and it will give you an estimated score and some feedback that will be kind of like what I would say. Of course, it's not exactly the same. You should not 100% trust AI, but if you want some extra feedback, you can use this. And then here are some example essays. These are all professionally published essays, but they maybe can give you some inspiration. And then the deadline for draft 3, and then the deadline for the final draft. Okay, any questions so far? Great. So for the rest of today, you can begin thinking about what you want to write for the argument essay. There is no word count limit. Write as much as you have to create a complete argument essay, and then stop. Okay, the rest of the time is yours.